Hey, what up, dudes? Alright, it's another day. Just left court. Back from court. Court sucks. Always sucks going to court. Alright, set the timer, 68 minutes. Let's go. Let's go. So, I actually didn't fill out my dev log yesterday, but I did some. I don't know. I don't even know how long. Not very long at all. But I did some things. I started going through. Let's see here. Okay, alright, I remember. I had a little hiccup here in my memory. We're going through data reset function, and we're making sure to we're reviewing it to ensure all code is proper for end of match and end of round data resets. Since it has been a while since it was reviewed, and we just created this function to be used in a different context, so yeah, it needs to be done. So we're going through, and we are basically just going line by line, and we're making sure that the stuff that happens, is needs to happen, and anything that checking to see if there's anything that doesn't happen that does need to happen. So we started off. We were looking at finished round scores. And I don't know exactly how, but I ended up getting sidetracked, which is, pretty common in programming. That's just kind of the way it is. I guess I just came across. Okay, I remember. Yeah, I went to this file, which is where it's the player file. It's where the finished rounds scores is rooted in, and I saw this commented out code and stuff, and I wanted to see about implementing this proposed change, because basically what this is a replacement for. We run this code in a different file in we run it in setup. Yeah, so in setup we instantiate all these different custom append list instances. And really, this is not, it's not really the place for them. Technically, they should be done here. So it would be a lot, more organized, cleaner for it to be done here. And the issue, though, was that we have a circular import issue, because this file, let's check our audio real quick. Let me check that audio before I dive into this madness here. Audio is usually good, but let's just check it. Sometimes it gets messed up, and you can't even hear me at all, or the music's loud, whatever. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, dude. It's not so bad. Yeah. Post it or stop it? That's the question. Never stop. Post that shit. Never stop. Post that shit. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes don't post that shit. Sometimes don't post that shit. Alright, so let's get back into this serious mode, right? So we have player. And I'm probably not even going to mess with this, because it's just kind of like a waste of time, but I don't even know why I'm going to explain this. I'm kind of explaining it to myself. Who cares? Anyway. So we would like this to be done here, these lists to get instantiated here. But the issue is, to do that, we have to import custom append list into this file, because that's what their instance is of. Therefore, you have to import the class to be able to instantiate it into an instance of that class. But we can't do that because custom append list already imports player. So if something imports player, you can't have two files importing each other at the same time. It's called a circular import issue, and you know it happens, and it's a real pain in the ass. Actually, it's probably one of the most difficult things to understand and deal with, at least for me as a programmer. It's one of the hardest things it can be confusing, at least for me. But long story short, there is a way around circular imports. And basically the way around it is like you have to import at least one of them after compilation time or whatever it is. Like when you go to run the network of scripts from whatever like main script you're running it from, the import can be circular as long as it's not like at the very beginning circular. So it can end up being circular, but it has to be like imported after the fact. And so like if this was inside of a function and then we call the function after like the very beginning stage of the script running, it would work. But because it's not in a function and it's just basically at the base level, even though it is inside of a class, it's still like it's not a local import. It's like considered, I guess, a global import or whatever you want to call it. So this here, we import the card group name dictionary, and so I guess I'll just look at it real quick to see if maybe we can get rid of card group name dict here. Maybe we don't need that here. So card group it checks the card group name dictionary, and then it says the card group is equal to self.cardGroupNameDict at self.cardGroupName. And so we have to have access to that card group, at least for this code to run. And we use that dictionary to do that. So I mean, the only way around this that I could see would be to well, you could make it to where like the card group name dictionary but we would still be importing player. Like the card groups come from player, and we have to access the card groups. So either they would get passed in as an argument to the append function or something, or we would have to import the file. And what we do is we just import them. We will import the object anyway. So there's really not a way around it. It has to be done. And that is the proper place for the card groups. I wouldn't want to move the card groups anywhere else from player. And I don't really want to pass the card group dictionary as an argument to append, because it's kind of weird. It's just not like arguments to functions are burdensome, and we don't really want to overuse them. So let me like zoom out just for a second. Just think just for a second. So we have player here. The card groups come from player. We have the card group name dictionary here in custom append list, which uses those card groups from player. So we import P1 and P2 or whatever. We got some dead imports apparently, or at least VS Code thinks that they're dead. That's why they're faded out, which they probably are. Um, yeah, and so we definitely need this dictionary. We definitely have to access the card groups. And I was gonna say, well, like, couldn't we put, and I don't know if this is gonna really fix the problem, but I'm thinking if we had like another file and we put the card group dictionary in that file, and then we imported player into that file to create the card group name dictionary, and then we import that file into custom append list, that would mean that this file, custom append list, is not actually importing player anymore, right? That means that they're importing a file that imports player, but they're not importing player. So then in that case, couldn't we have player import custom append list? You see what I'm saying? Like, to basically defer the import to a third location, and that is usually the solution to circular import issues, is to create a third location where like something is rooted in that file. So instead of importing from each other, one of them imports to the other one, and then one of them imports from that third file. So it's not circular. I know it's kind of a weird concept, but it is a concept. It is something that has to be. It's a law. You cannot break this law in Python. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not so much against making new files anymore. Like, files are files. I don't really care about that. Like creating just another file, I'm not so opposed to that, you know? I could literally just create a file for card group name dictionary, and then we import card group name dictionary from that file. But I don't know if that would actually fix the import issue. I mean, I'm pretty sure it would, but like I said, I still get confused about importing. Sometimes it's like sneaky, you know? It's kind of, it can be a little bit confusing. So yeah, we would put the card group name dictionary in a new file. Let's just call it card group name dict, whatever. We can just call it that file, .py. We create it. That has this dictionary inside of it, meaning it's going to import from P1 and P2. And yeah, we're not going to import P1 and P2 here. And then we can import custom append list into player. So instead of instantiating all these instances here, we can do that in the proper location inside of player. And you know, honestly, I really don't like to make a file for literally one thing, but I don't know, man. I'm going to give it the decision. We're going to make this decision. Yeah, you know, I don't like it. I don't like these being instantiated here. I don't like it. Don't like it. You know? Notice that we don't transfer these headers to CS, and I'm also pretty sure they're not used on the CS at all. Therefore, why would we create them on CS? Okay, so lots of these are not used on the client side. Yeah, and we went through that yesterday. Some of these are just... Okay. Okay, I mean that doesn't really matter as far as like respecting the source file, the file that they come from or wherever. That's would still be handled by the same solution or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Let's do it, dude. It is a little bit of a refactor, but I'm pretty sure it'll work. Let me just consult with the god real quick. Let me ask the god real quick what he says. Let's see. So Python 3 import issue importing player into custom append list and importing custom append list into player. Solution would be to create third file which imports player and then player and then CL imports third file and player imports cal. Yep, what you've run into is a circular import problem. So you have player imports custom append list imports player. Python tries to resolve the imports but gets stuck because both files depend on each other during import time. General solutions, refactor into a third module, which is a common dependency. This is what you hinted at, and it's often the cleanest fix. True. Shared py holds whatever classes, function, constants both need. Player py and custom append list import from shared py. If one of them really needs the other, sometimes you can delay the import. See next fix. Use local imports or a delayed import. Only import what you need at the point of use rather than at the top of the file. Yeah, and that is a solution, right? Like we could do... We could in player, we could defer. We could have these get created. It would be a deferred creation. To where we would just have this run inside of a function and the function would just be called instantiate card groups. And in that function it would import custom append list. So I'm a little bit torn. I'm like that does seem very simple, right? Like that's really simple. I could just do, and then right here at the bottom, you know, at the end we would run that function. And like I think that would fix it. That would make the circular import go away, I believe. I don't know why, but that just seems weirder to me. I don't like that. It's not a big deal. It's really not. I just I don't like it. I don't know why. I'm okay with creating another file. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do that. All right, we're doing it. Let's make a new file, and we're gonna call it. What is it called? It's called the card group name dictionary. And so why did it take away the .py? All right, so here we go. We have card group name dictionary. And what we're going to do here is we're going to import, well, we're going to say from player, import P1, P2. And then we can do card group name dictionary, or card, what is it, card group name? Card group name dict equals, create the dictionary, and then we'll have, you know, well, actually, we just copy this, right? So we'll go over here. We're going to copy this, bam, and take it away. Now it hath been taken away from custom append list. We're going to put it, we'll just paste it in here. So get rid of this. Paste that in there. Boom. This is merely a placeholder assignment. Is reassigned to proper custom append list instance dict vals in setup pi. Well, that's about to not be true. That's like the point of this, what we're doing right here. And I don't like this to be here. I like it to be messed up the indent. I see what it did. Like that. Okay, cool. So now we also need to import master deck. So from deck import master deck. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we have cargo name dict there. And then what we can do in custom append list, we will at the tippity top we can say from card group name dict import card group name dictionary. Can't you do that? I feel like you can do that, right? Yes, should be able to do it. And this as placeholders, these are not actually going to be placeholders anymore. At least, like, they shouldn't be anyway. They should not be placeholders anymore. They should now be, they're a real boy now. You know? And so what we need to do, well, okay, right, because it's going to be self dot. That's the problem. I'm like, why is it not why is it darkened out? That it's usually darkened out like that whenever you don't actually like use it in the file that you're importing it into, but that was only because we have to remove this self prefix from all these various pieces of code here, because it is no longer part of the custom append list self, because that refers to the custom append list class instance or the class object, and that is no longer the case. It is now a third-party independent, and we reassign it here. And this doesn't need to be done. This actually it can't be done anymore, and we don't need it. I know we don't need it because these are immutable objects. So whenever you have a dictionary value that's a mutable object, that it changes as the object mutates without having to reassign the dict value itself, right? I'm like 99.9% sure of this. Let me triple check on that. I already know the answer, but it's one of those things where I'm like 99% sure, but I am just the type of guy that pretty much I need to be 100% sure. That's just the way I am. Let me just ask about this, and I done already forgot what I was asking. It's right, okay, mutable dict val doesn't need to be reassigned because it mutates as object changes. Exactly. In Python, mutable objects like dict list set are referenced, not copied, when stored as a value in a variable, attribute, or another container. That means if you have something like this, data equals player score 0, player ref is data at player. Player ref points to the same dictionary, and then you do player ref at score plus equals 10. Notice how data player changed even though we never reassigned data. Oh, so it would even update. So the value doesn't have to be mutable. Because the dictionary itself is mutable. I didn't know that. That's because both player ref and data player point to the same object in memory. Player ref and then data at player. So you have data is equal to a dictionary with player, and the associated value is a dictionary. Well, that's confusing, but still. Anyway, it's a nested dictionary. Nested dictionaries make my stomach hurt. Then you have player ref equals data at player, which refers to this dictionary. Okay. And then player ref at score right, okay. Because that is that dictionary. Plus equals 10, so it changes this value from 0 to 10. And then when you print data, it's going to print out player score 10. And that's because the dictionary is a mutable object. That's because both player ref and data at player point to the same object in memory. When you would need reassignment, you only need reassignment if you want the dict key to point to a completely new object. So data at player is equal to score 50. This replaces the whole inner dictionary. Now player ref is still pointing to the old dictionary, score 10, while data player points to a new one. So the rule of thumb, mutating an object in place, for example, append dict at key equals val, or update automatically visible everywhere that object is referenced. But reassignment only changes what that variable or that dict key points to. Gotcha. Okay. I knew that. I knew that. Alright, so now we got rid of, like, we should be safe with this. So we just got rid of some code. Let me just make sure real quick. I'm pretty sure I just checked all these, but let me... Boom, 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 boom. Okay, yeah, so like this should work, I think. Yeah. Alright, let's get rid of that. Now, we have this file that was literally created just for this. And I'll just like put a little note here at the top. And I'll say why we created this file. We'll say below file, below find. It is fine, that's true. We created this file to avoid a circular import issue between player.py and custom append list.py. Yep, that's all we need to say, really. Alright, and let's get one of those little divs. One of those little divs. And we're going to bring that bad boy over here, and we're going to paste it in. Yep. Alright, now, we still have some work to do. And what this means is we can now import custom append list into player. So let's see, necessary import format for accessing global live SS or CS. Well, we're gonna need that, right? Isn't that right? Oh yeah, and I wanted to ask about that. Can I do this form of import? Let's see, got it. You're mixing direct imports of symbols and a full module import. That pattern is actually useful in certain cases, especially when you need both. Direct imports grab a snapshot reference to a name at import time. And now you can use C1 change attribute list directly without the change attribute list dot prefix. Correct, that's why I did it that way. But if change attribute list C1 later gets rebound to a new object, your direct import will not update. You'll still be pointing to an old object. However, if the value is a mutable object list, you will see mutations to it since both reference point to the same object in memory. Module import gives import change attribute list gives you a live handle to the module namespace. Now SSCS will always resolve to whatever is currently in the module's global scope. This avoids the stale reference problem. So the combo works because you import certain globals directly for convenience, and you also import the whole module so you can access live updated globals like SS or CS. Gotcha. Okay, so it's cool. I just wanted to check on that as well. So we're gonna do from custom append list import. Well, we want to import the class, right? Like that. And then what we'll do is we have all this code here. And this is the proposed replacement. Reward changing all that for this to make sure it won't sure. Enable the server to see if it works. We can't import custom list from the top of the file because custom. Okay, true. Remember if this works, remove associated code from setup pi. Alright, got you. And now we have, well, we're not going to do that. Let's get rid of all these. It's double commented. How do you do that? You just double remove it? There we go. Okay, cool. So now we have all this, but it needs to be reliant on the ID of the player. So we'll say if ID is equal to 1, then we want to do assign them as with that name. And otherwise, now why do we print this out? Why do we print bad len temp meld list ref? Why would we do that? Okay, so if ID is equal to 1, we do it that way, but then we say else, which is the same as saying elif elid ID is equal to 2. If that's the case, I got a ingrown fingernail on my thumb. It hurts like a bitch, even though it's very minor. I forgot like how painful those things were. Such a tiny little thing to cause so much pain, but it does. It's kind of messing up how I type. Anyway, let's see. So paste in this for the else here. Paste that bad boy in. We got da, 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 da. Now we need to change all these to be P2. So what we can do is we can, well, actually, yeah, let's duplicate our cursor, and then we're gonna get rid of this duplicated cursor, and then we're gonna move over to here. I don't know if this is gonna work. Yeah, so it's lining up. So instead of P1, we're gonna change this to be P2. So I'm just making sure they're all in the correct location. Looks right to me. Now we go bam, bam, P2. There we go. So now if the ID is equal to 2, it's going to create these custom append list instances with the P2 prefix instead of the P1 because, well, that's the right way to do it. And then we have, for ID is equal to 1, we have the P1 prefix. Now what we want, we need to make sure of is we need to make sure that all of these card groups here are the proper card groups, meaning that there's not any that are left out or something. So let's put that right here. Boom. Now we can go over here and we should be able to close this up. And now we can go back over to custom append list. Should be good now. Close this out, I think. And then we can go to setup. And now all of this red, seeing so much red, we're gonna copy all of these. Well, let's go one by one real quick and make sure we got them all. So let's put this file on that side. Put them side by side, and then we're going to go through and check to see if they're all here. So we have bad len temp melds list ref. So let's copy this and then bring it over here, do Control F, and then paste it in. Okay, that one is there. And then this is going to be only run this if SS or CS. So we'll copy that over here. Next one is going to be let's see. Next one is going to be black 3 meld ref. So let's copy that. Go back over here, Control F, paste that in. Alright, that one is there. Wait. Okay, right, because I was deleting them as I went, so that should be cool. Alright, yeah, so that one's there. We can copy this, put it over black 3 meld ref, go back over here, get rid of that. Then we have P1 hand or P2. Hand is there, I already see it. Then we have initial melded cards. Alright, I see it. That one is going to be our SS or CS one. So let's make sure we put that here. And let's get rid of it. Boom, there it goes. Now we have last set played cards ref. Yeah, last set played cards ref. P1 and P2. That's only client side. So we can get rid of this one. And then we have len2 temp melds ref. That is CS only. So let's put that there. We can now delete this. Alright, matched in meld list. It's there and it's only CS run. And so we can get rid of that. And then melds. I see melds. Alright. Get rid of that note. Now melds len 6 list. Got it. Only CS. So put that one right there. Back over here. Get rid of that. Then we have play cards. That one's there. Play cards removed black 3's ref. There it is. Play cards removed black 3's ref. That's only CS. Let's get rid of that. Play cards wild cards ref. Alright, I see it. It's only CS. And then we have pre-sort play cards. There it is. Red 3 meld. There it is. And then reroute discard initial play cards. There it is. CS only. Alright. Get rid of that. And now we can actually we don't need to do this, do we? We should be able to get rid of this now. This custom append list card group name dictionary. Because it's already, like, why do we need this? Verified required. Ensure that none of the reference lists are ever reassigned. Ensuring that these dict files will always reference the associated object. Okay, I see what's going on here. Alright, so basically this had to happen here because this was right after we reassigned the clickable card list to be custom append list instances. But so this has to be assigned after. So that's fine. Yeah, what we need to happen here is we need card group name dictionary to be assigned after this. So there's the creation, the recreation, instantiation of these custom append list instances. And that means the card group name dictionary is no longer valid because those objects have been reassigned. Wait a second. Hold up. So let me see if I understand this correctly. So we have card group name dictionary. It imports P1 and P2. And then it imports from deck so once P1 and P2 become instantiated, it can't import until instantiation, right? Like it doesn't work like that. So it has to be instantiated first, then it imports. Okay. So all of these card groups are gonna have been created. So whenever it creates this dictionary here, that is including the final assigned form of these card groups, right? Yeah, that's like the only place they are assigned. They're not assigned in two places anymore. We don't do the placeholder thing. That was like part of why we implemented this solution. So yeah, that should be good. This should be a valid dictionary. It doesn't need to be like redone in setup. It doesn't need to be reassigned to this. It's already done. And it's proper. Should be. Right? Well, I mean, it depends on the order of events, but this has to have P1 and P2 to be able to work. Like it imports P1 and P2, and P1 and P2 doesn't get created until the very end of the player file. So, aka all of those card groups already have to exist, have been instantiated for it to reference it at all in the first place through the P1 object or P2 object. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is fine. AKA, we can get rid of this. Yeah. Right? We don't do any more reassignments. We surely do not. Okay, cool. So now let's, boom, got rid of it. And now we have, well, this is a little bit of a different problem. So let's go one thing at a time here. So we have to do, these all only need to be run for SS or CS. So first of all, let me gather them all the CS onlys, and put them together. So we have all of them segregated. Like so. And then we have this one should go up here. So now we have hand melds, play cards, pre-sort play cards, and red 3 meld. Those are the those are the only ones that are needed on these are needed on server side and client side. All the rest are only needed on server side. So what we do here is we say if ss, or rather changed attribute list dot ss or cs is equal to ss. So only if server side, only run on server side. We have all these, and we can get rid of these. If and you watch the magic, you will see. Now, boom, like that. And then this is gonna be always run, right? So that's if we're on the server side, run this. If we're on the client side, run only this. So it will run these only on the server side, and then on client side it would run, or I'm sorry, if it was server side it would do all of them. If it's client side, it's only going to do these. Yeah, there we go. Now we need to, I think the best way to do this, well, we'll just do it like that. So badlen, then black 3. Actually, you know what? This is faster probably. So just delete it. Paste this back in. And then boom. And now we'll just change them again using that same method we did before to P2, because these are, oh, that one's in the wrong spot. Now we go boom, 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 boom. And now we should be able to just backspace and then type in 2, and it'll replace all these ones with the 2, because that's for P2. Beautiful. Alright, so do we not import change attribute list here? From import change attribute list, but it says that we don't use it. I'm confused. How does it say that? Init takes in the change attribute list? Do we need to do that? So player takes in. Why does it do that? Because of this? This isn't new code. This is old code, right? Oh, these are merely placeholder lists. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, look at that. So this is the same thing. Yeah, this is duplicate. Black 3 meld-ref, initial, last set, len2, mat, blah, blah, blah. All these. Okay, so all these are gone. But we can copy these, copy the notes here. So here's what we can do. We'll do like this. Boom. Actually, I can just do like this. Shift, copy, boom. Now we can escape. Go up here, and we should be able to duplicate this cursor again. So we just go bam, 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 bam. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry. That's only for, okay, these right here. So we go up here, boom, 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 boom. Then we can go 1, 2. Let me get rid of this. Nope, they're not all like that. So if we do end, backspace, backspace, home, end, space, paste. But now we have to line them up, right? Yeah, that's a little bit ugly, huh? We gotta fix it. So we do that like this to line everything up. nice and pretty. These two are the same, so we can do them together. That's not right. That AC got it freezing up in here, dude. Get rid of that here. Constants, okay. And then let's get these all together. Now we can exit, go up here, get all these together, and then boom. Do it like that. And get rid of all these 4s. So there's a few. Bam, 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 and these are in the wrong spots. You know, if we get rid of all that. I messed up here. I did something wrong. I hit the wrong button. Okay, I see what I did. I whiffed it. Almost done here. Let's duplicate all that. There we go. Look at that shit, dude. Oops. Forgot one. Alright, there we go. Okay. Now we can... Well, we'd have to do it again. Right here. So let's just go ahead and do that. We'll get rid of the 4 stars first. No, because they're not all there. It's delicate work here. Oh yeah, you can't see my cursor. I forgot to open my little cursor highlighter here. That's not the right spot, dude. Forgot one somehow. There we go. Now we want to do it one space after. And we'll change it to 4. That's what I usually like to do. So we'll do 2, 3, 4. And then we'll go up here and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Paste that in. And then we'll line them all up like this. I think this is probably the fastest way to do that. It's kind of weird, right? But it's the way that I do it. I like it to be nice and clean. And this is just information about these lists. They're not transferred. They don't need to be verified that we don't need to transfer them. All this other information. And there's extra spaces here. We need to go get rid of that. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll do the same thing here. See that big old gap? I don't like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Alright. That was a nightmare. So these are merely placeholder lists. That's not true anymore. Now we can get rid of all these. Boom. Alright. And then the hand, all this stuff is already created. The hand is created up there. The hand wildcard ref list, that one's not created. It's not a custom append list instance. It is a simple list which is populated through append and pop logic and custom append list. Okay, so we do need that one actually. Yeah. So we can get rid of hand. We'll copy the note for it. Well, we already did. Oh, because some of these are transferred, so these have to be I got you. So then we go to hand here. Let's just get rid of all this extra shit. Paste that one. No. Line it up. Alright, so hand is... Why did we have two? Did we have an ID section here for this? Or am I tripping? Okay, I think I was tripping there. Put this 4 after that one. Go back here. We got hand wildcard ref list. That one does need to remain. This is just a regular list. Now melds. We can paste that. Get rid of melds. So we already do it the right way. Yeah, this is much improved, man. This is so much better, honestly. Like, just straight up, dude, it's better. Ah, I see, we're duplicating. We are duplicating. We have to give it the proper name, so it has to be done like that. So we need to start up here. That's for P1 melds. To cal instance, it is transferred. Verified, we do need to transfer. And that's going to be the case for all these. So I can just cut to the chase. We'll copy it, bring it out here. Yeah. Look at that. Now we can just do the same thing we did right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know this might seem extra, but honestly, we might not need this information anymore. It's been so long. Like, I know this stuff by heart. But it's really no big deal. It's fine. I forgive myself for adding it. I needed it at some point in time. It was crucial information. Alright, so we do need to keep hand wildcard ref list because that is just a regular list. It's not a custom append list. Play cards. That one is already created. We can get rid of it. Verify this card group only handles cards, not melds. Okay, so that was pre-sort play cards. Let's put that over it. Yeah, we do want to note that because I know I wondered about that for a long time. And I went back and reviewed and figured it out. So pre-sort play cards out of here. We got red 3 meld. Boom, last one. And we don't need a div for that. This one's just a regular list, so it's special. And we'll put this one. I guess we'll line it up with that one. How about that? Alright, look at that, dude. It's pretty clean, sort of. That's not perfect. But nothing is perfect, is it? So we got finish on scores, go now, play card, new ranks, ref. How about this? We'll put this one down here. With... yeah, that makes more sense. Hand wildcard ref list. Play cards, new ranks, ref. Yeah, that's fine. So we don't need to space it out like this. Can bring it back in just like that. Boom. Cool. Okay, that was a lot, but I think we took care of all that pretty good. That's This is much better now. Let me close out this terminal because we don't need it. And alright, so now let's just review this. So we have def init inside of player. We pass in changed attribute list, but I don't think we need to do that. It should just be able to access it through the global space. I'm pretty certain of this. Like, I don't think we need to import it. Or rather, I don't think we need to pass it in as an argument to the initializer. Do we need to import it into it like that? I didn't think we did. What happens if we do this? Does it get grayed out? No, it's not grayed out. So at least VS Code thinks that we should be able to access it this way. And I am pretty sure we can. Because we're importing it globally, it checks, it's going to look in the global scope to see if it exists there, and it is. It's going to exist there. Yeah, so we can, I think we can rest assured that that is done correctly. So now we have the player time list dictionary here. Actually, I'm not done with this. So we have ID, checks the ID. If ID is 1, checks for if SS or CS is SS. If so, runs all these for ID 1, passing the prefix P1. Then we have the P1 hand, P1 melds, P1 play cards, P1 pre-sort play cards, P1 red 3 meld. Sure. And then we have ID2, SS side runs all this with the P2 prefix. Same for these with the P2 prefix. Everything looks good. Yeah, so that's much improved. What we need to do now, and we did move the hand wildcard roughless over there. If we go back over here to setup, we can close out of this. We don't need that. We have this deck, master deck. So we need to go. Hold up. So we can import custom append list into master deck, right? Does custom append list import master deck? Well, it did, but that was because of. So we don't need P1 and P2 imported here at all, do we? I mean, we use the namespace, but that's not the same thing as the actual object. That's just a string. What is this? Self player is P1? Why do we do that? Oh no. 9, 10, 11, 12. Self player hand wild cards list reft append. Oh no. We still need player in custom append list because of fucking this. It's automated. Oh no. But I like the new code so much as far as this goes. That's so much better than having it in setup. It's totally worth it. We're gonna have to do a workaround though. So let me put a little note here. Let's say actually we'll go up here. We'll do self.player. I'll put it to do. And below line Damn it, man. I should have checked that though. I really should have noticed that. That's m- that's me getting caught lacking right there. That's a big deal actually, because if we really need that, like if we weren't able to change this, or if it was going to be really hard to make it to where a player like this is accessed differently, if it was too hard, I would have had to basically like go back and undo all this work I just did with the moving the card group name dictionary out of custom append lists and stuff. And like all this work I just did would have been like bad. I would have had to redo it. So what we need to do is, since, or well, let's say explicitly remove or change this code so that we are using, or we are accessing the player object without importing it. We just removed the import of P1, P2 here so that we could import this file into player by. That is true. And then we also have to add, we have to make master deck custom append list instances. Let's say master deck custom append list instances. So we should be able to import that. Import custom append list class into master or deck by, and instantiate the proper card groups as instances of custom append list, since we moved that to its own file instead of them being instantiated in setup.py. Ensure we remove associated code in setup.py for this. So we have to, be careful. We have to remove associated code in setup for this, and then what else do we do? Well, we have to review data reset function. Yeah, we're doing that. And well, the other one is already like we know because we just put it as our to do. So let's go back over here, change this code, and we're gonna say we stopped here. So let's see, 9.3 stopped here, and then we'll say next would be to do immediately below to do task, and this is going to be line 72 in what file was that? Player, wasn't it? No, not player. Okay, right, in custom append list. So that's line 72 in custom append list. So let's go right here. Number 72. All right. Sidetracked into refactor of card group name dict, location and associated code in player dot py custom append list py and setup py. Mostly finished, but not completely done. Let me stop at line 72. Alright. And this needs to be changed to today's date, which is the 3rd. Really, we started, we'll just tack on 30 minutes to it. So if we started an hour and 10 ago, that was 12:38. So then we'll just tack 30 minutes onto that. So that would be 12:08. So we'll just say 12 to 1:48, and we'll add 30 minutes, right? So we'll say 12 o'clock to 1:50, and that's basically, well, we'll just say 1.75 hours, right? Yeah, because this is actually 111 plus 30. Yeah, it's close enough. It's not precise, completely perfect, but alright, so let's review here. We got game testing, debugging, review, part 36. Correct. 9/3/25, 12 to 150. That's 1.75 hours. It's almost 2 hours, whatever. And then continue debugging, reviewing the game to test it. Specifically, continued implementation of proper game data reset for client in various scenarios. Sidetracked into refactor of card group name, deck, location, and associated code and player, custom append list, deck, and setup. Mostly finished but not completely done. Stopped at line 72 in custom append list. And that is indeed correct. Now we're going to stage commit and push our changes to the remote repository. So let's copy this, open up our terminal, make sure we're at the root of the project directory, which we are. We're going to get our branch, we're going to get add, we're going to get commit-m, and we can ignore those LF warnings. Then we have the 13 files changed, 156 insertions, 255 deletions. So we added 156 lines minus 10, so 146, and we added 146 and we got rid of 255. So we lost 100 lines. That's really good. A little over 100 actually. So we net lost lines, and that's usually what I go for, is net loss of lines. Now we can push to the remote repository. Alright, okay, so we created those 2 new files. We push up. So all that code we got rid of, like bam, that's 100 lines of code I'm never going to have to look at again. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you just chip away and you focus on getting rid of lines, I probably got rid of like 600 lines from my project in the past like month or so, which is a lot. That's pretty good. Maybe more. It's been a lot. Maybe 700-800. Yeah, so that just makes everything a lot easier to read. It's a lot easier to understand. It's so much easier to work with. Probably less bugs, you know, less lines to contain bugs, less places for them to hide. So yeah, we pushed to the remote repository on GitHub. It did that successfully. Let's go over here, and we're going to create a local backup. So we go to Program Ing Projects Canasta. We copy that one, go back out to the backup, rename it to today's date, which is indeed the 3rd. And my son's birthday is going to be tomorrow. Not going to be able to see him. This will be the 3rd birthday that I have missed, which is not very cool at all. And we go to devlog, and we go to the end here, and we check just to make sure it is today's work, and it is. Alright, so we're done. We did really good. That was solid session. Next, we just have to finish what we started with this card group name deck stuff. It's not going to take me too long to finish this. I really caught myself lacking, though, not noticing that we needed player for the player module for another reason. So that's fucked up, because now I'm going to have to probably pass the player as an argument or do some other magic. Really disappointed myself for not noticing that. Should have searched a little bit more. Yeah, before you make changes to your project, always do a thorough search and just make sure you're accounting for everything, you know, that the change is going to affect. And I didn't do a good enough job with that, obviously, because now I have to go back and make a little bit of adjustments here for that. Let me just glance at this real quick and see what we got. Dot player, where it's all used. So it's used really, is it just for that? No, it's used. Well, yeah, it's the same thing for hand wild cards ref list. And, you know, technically we could put this in its own location to avoid this import issue. We could put it in a tertiary location. And let me just add that as a note, because just in case I forget that, we might want to do that. I probably won't, but it is something we could consider. Putting the, what is it, hand wild cards or whatever in a tertiary location to avoid importing it from player. Yeah, that would solve it, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eat a little snack. I'm gonna go to the gym and drink some more coffee. I'm feeling a little sleepy, and yeah, we'll come back, do some more, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We gotta figure that out. But man, that fucking ingrown fingernail hurts. All right, so good work. Pretty good session. See ya later.